Well, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, let me go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Let's just say I had a little shaving accident, so I got 2 band-aids on here. But welcome
It's
to
all right.
hashtag fade to black.
Everybody get chin chin once or twice in life,
Hey, yeah, that razor got
Sometimes you
the
let their
best.
guard
Yeah,
slip a little bit.
yeah.
Sometimes their guard just drop a little bit.
No, that razor got the best of me. But welcome to another edition of installment of hashtag fade to black. I am your host, Donnell Martin Morris, here with Beast Johnson, here with Anita Jope. Everybody's inauguration day. Already said and done. Not new generation, but a new era has officially started. It's under 45 degrees outside, but it still feels good. Like say,
So
Beast,
warm.
forgive me.
It feels good at minus 45.
Yes.
It feels very
Never has
good.
minus 45 felt so good.
Oh my
Therapeutic
God.
almost.
I'm so ecstatic that Beast, go ahead and introduce us to the first half sponsor of this show before we go into opening statements.
First half? Well, since we're talking about such good things, we've seen a lot of good sights. No, you know what goes good with good sights? Great smells. And Sky Zone Society has now brought their own scented candles to add to the flavor, baby. Now, I'm joking when I say this, but check the website. If you want your house to smell like fresh PS5, you need to go holler at that Sky Zone Society. Now, if you want to look fresh like a PS5, you need to go holler at that Sky Zone Society. And if you want your pictures and visuals to look fresh like that brand new PS5, need I say more? Go to the store. Sky Zone, baby.
Thank you, Beast Johnson, for that. I'm going to go ahead and start off the opening statements, and everybody else will follow in because I'm sick and tired of following y'all up every time. So that ends for today. So let's jump on in. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet. I'm gonna just go ahead and just play it. This is my opening statement. Skinner Ricky Rinky Dee, Skinner Ricky Doo. Goodbye to you. Skinner Ricky Rinky Dee, Skinner Ricky Doo. Goodbye to you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. Now I know, because I know y'all gonna go back on shows and say that, well, Morris, you the one that said that you would not shake nobody's hand in a football game because it's war. Yes, that's true. But when it comes to something like this, when it comes to, democracy, because I remember when I did an election, when I did the FCA, when I became vice president, And there was a time when I lost. Yes, I walked out, but guess what? I went back and I congratulated her on her win, and I shook her hand. For him not to be there at the inauguration, have the traditional change of command, as we call it in the military, and do that just shows a lot on his character. It's sad. It's sad that you could that prove that right there proves to a lot of people of who he was. It proved a lot to what type of person he is. Honestly, he'd be lucky to even have a statue or a freaking little mantle or a model of him of all the presidents in the museum. For him to leave like that, it's crazy to me. But, ladies and gentlemen, he's gone. He destroyed this country. Now we just hope that this current administration can fix that. And that, I yield the floor.
Well, since we doing greetings, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye, na 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 na, hey hey hey, that year goodbye. Now, with that being said, today is also a very proud day for Black people, for colors all around, for the melanated, for the pigment. Because today is the last day any colored person could ever fix their mouth or their mind to say that you cannot ascend to that plateau. As Black people all around, we have now, as a Black man that grew up, this from the 80s, that was raised by old school civil rights folk who had the same mentality that they had, that I may never grow to see a Black president. If I do, I'll be an old man. I'll come the 31st, I'll be 37. And I've already seen the first Black president and now the first Black female vice president. Shouts out to Ms. Ferreira. You started it and Kamala finished it. But as we move forward, everyone's mindset, everyone's mentality should change. Those trivial preconceived notions that we had in the past, they die today and they're buried. And they fly away with Trump and the rest of his ignorant bullshit. Because we can't afford to think that way. We can't afford to believe or acknowledge those falsities and frail mind schemes, because the evidence is right there. You can't tell me I can't be the president. Had a Black, half Black African president. So half his lineage wasn't even technically American. So I know I could be the fucking president now. I'm just a South Carolina geech. Same for the sisters out there. Y'all don't have to suck and fuck or do some sideways shit to get on. Stick to your morals, stick to your intelligence, and you can achieve like Kamala did. There's no reason why we as Americans, why we as humans can't move forward in a strong, positive manner from this, because there's been so much positivity shown just from this transition of delegates. And yes, it's also exposed to ignorance, but that comes with any type of change. You're going to have folk that's with it. You're going to have folk that's against it. That's just part of life. So let's not pay attention to those that have an issue with this. Let's embrace those that are willing to affect the change and work with them and ignore the other ones. They'll eventually get in line, or they just won't be here. They'll leave. So once again, na 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 na, hey hey hey, 45 goodbye. Let's have a good show.
Wow. Can't you see the brand new day. A new day has dawned. Minus 45 degrees, and it feels good. Did anyone notice the change in the atmosphere? Did anyone notice how the sun was shining over the White House? And I just made the comparison to when President Obama was inaugurated. I and my husband, we were there, and it was so cold and it was so cloudy and it was just cold. All I can remember is how cold it was. But today, it still may have been cold, but I do know that it's been unseasonably warm in cold areas like in my state. So I'm thinking that it wasn't as cold as it was back then. But the sun was shining. And I took the sun shining as a symbol that old things are passed away. And the way we remember that presidency is very similar to when we go to the bathroom. We wipe and we flush, and we never look back. So the road is rugged ahead, but I believe we have a team and a willingness in the team and a willingness in the people to go through those rough spots and smooth it out and get our nation back on track again. I had, I truly believe that it's a brand new day. We don't know what the day is going to bring, but we are alert. We could not sleep through those last 4 years, and we will not sleep through these next 4 years. We see what works and we see what does not work. We see when a person is self centered and conceited, seeking unlimited power, unlimited wealth, something that they never had in their real life. And we see the fall of an empire. It's going to take much, but I salute our new president, Joseph Biden, and Vice President Kamala Harris. If they don't do anything else, they made history just by appointing Kamala Harris as the vice president. This breaks the barriers for women and it breaks the barriers for race. So we don't want to put overly high expectations, but we can be happy today because at least we are in the house. We are in the seat of power. We can effective change. We can believe and have faith that we're coming upon a new day. We're coming upon a better day. We're coming upon an administration that understands humanity. We're coming upon an administration. Did anyone notice that even though it was limited participation because of the threat of January the 6th, that even though there was a threat of a threat, and the government decided to restrict participation, it still was a full house. And the way they decorated uh, the mall was awesome. It was simply brilliant and beautiful. And that's the way things should be. I believe, if I'm not the first to say it, maybe one of millions, he still had more people than minus 45 on his inauguration day with the restrictions. So, with that, I yield the floor and let's have a good show.
All right, all right. First of all, let me go ahead and get everything right here. So let me go and put myself in the middle. Sorry, Teach. Okay, so originally the show was going to be talking about ADOS. Mayo, me and him actually talked, and he said he wanted to talk about it, and I said it was going to be for Wednesday show. And then I realized the inauguration's today, so I switched it. And I was like, this is something that we all should, talk about and what we should expect. But according to CNN News, he's already signed a lot of executive orders already. He's already trying to get us to rejoin. Yes, he's already on it. He's already as I'm on right now. Let me see.
I mean, look at what old boy did on his way out. Right. His last 74 pardons and 70 accumulations.
Yeah.
Right before this morning.
You know what, Beast? Let's go ahead. Let's talk about these pardons. Lil Wayne.
Hey, see, she said that because I spoke to one of my hood homies about it, and I was like, I didn't know Lil Wayne was in any legal trouble. And his response was real simple. I was like, how you gonna? I asked him how's he pardoned? He was like, well, technically, you can't pardon somebody that ain't been convicted. So it's true. Mm-hmm. You had to be convicted in order to be pardoned from something.
I thought he had been convicted for carrying a gun and weed through the airport.
Yeah, I was under the assumption that was an old one because he done got caught with guns and weed several times.
So many times
over his career. So I was under the impression, what? This is new? This is old? What he been doing saying the same stuff for the last 10 years. So I'm not surprised at the charges like that.
Yeah, I'm not even. I didn't even know he was under investigation again and in trouble again. Go ahead, Chichi.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be a current case because in many cases in these pardons, they pardon deceased people, hundreds of years after their death. But what troubled me, right when you get ready to get happy, then you realize it's some BS. It's Kwame Kilpatrick.
I was thinking the same thing.
He was the mayor of our city. And his sentence was commuted, but he wasn't pardoned. But he pardoned all the criminals. Yeah, I mean, I guess all of them are criminals. I was told that he pardoned. I was told he was pardoned short of 20 years. No. His sentence was commuted.
Oh, okay.
He was not granted a pardon, which is.
See, that begs a better question too, because out of all the names that were referenced, Kwame, Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, and the white dude, Brandon.
Oh yeah, Bannon. Now,
Steve Bannon.
Yeah, the white supremacist himself. He's the co-creator of Breitbart. So Chief,
he was actually pardoned, and I say that because Joe Exotic, the Tiger King, he spoke on it as well. It's funny, but he spoke on it as well and was like, y'all ain't had no problem, all up in my face when y'all needed that social media buzz. But you can sit here and release these other folk. As he put it, I'm too innocent and too gay to be pardoned. That's how he started it off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So and then also Kwame. Go ahead.
Now, there's one good one that came out of this is the one that Snoop Dogg. He actually he worked behind the scenes. He got the co-founder of Death Row Records.
I did hear something about that. Yeah, I thought they were talking about Sugar first.
The trouble that Sugar put him through. But yeah, let me go ahead and put up the list. But I'm happy, Beach, that you brought that up first because the pardons was the one that everybody was actually waiting on. Like, and
it's funny when you say you brought up Kwame, because when I saw Kwame's name, at first it was saying that he had been pardoned. So I was thinking, watch Trump use some foolishness for 2024, pop back up with Kwame on his side. Like, well, I'm gonna do what Biden did. I'm gonna find me I'm gonna black me some black politic that got some iffiness with their past, but everybody still rock with it.
and then
Well,
Kodak Black.
Yeah.
Go
right,
ahead.
Kodak
I'm
Black.
sorry.
Well, what they were saying is that because they because minus 45 commuted Kwame, they were saying that he did more than President Obama did in his administration because Obama didn't do anything.
Well,
And I'm saying, so you want to give him a last minute half point for halfway doing nothing?
Yeah, half-ass.
uh, number one, Obama was a real nigga. Here's why he a real nigga. Obama is the brother. Obama is Master P. He gonna tell you before you get in trouble. Don't do it. Don't do it. Now, if you don't listen to him and you in trouble, he not gonna speak on your name. He already said he told you not to do it. He already said he told you you're gonna end up in jail. If you end up in jail, ain't but so much I can do for you. Now you in jail. Now you looking at me to do something. Bro, we already had this conversation. Like, I'm not about to sit here and flex my muscle over somebody that ain't gonna listen.
Right.
And
And
unfortunately, Kwame Kilpatrick was one of those brothers that you be like, man, free my nigga, free my nigga. Your nigga sat here and shot a whole bunch of people in broad daylight with multiple camera angles. No, he needs to stay in jail.
yeah, and the crazy thing about all these partners, I'm gonna go with Kodak Black and Lil Wayne real quick, because a lot, I can guarantee you right now, social
All
media,
the
definitely
youngest.
Black Twitter, are going crazy
Mm-hmm.
right now. Like, oh my gosh, Trump pardoned him. Oh my goodness, Trump,
Look
why
here.
you ain't
They already
saying
got
it's
memes
a
out.
fraud? Yeah, they're like,
They,
he freed him.
I've been seeing two
Obama wouldn't
memes
do
with
that.
Kodak, Lil Wayne, and Bobby Smurda. Kodak, Lil Wayne, and Joe Exotic. Yeah, they've already started the meme count for that already.
Yeah, they're gonna go crazy and they're gonna believe
Mm-hmm.
and see. And this is what goes back to what we've been saying about us not being educated. And I like to generalize, I like to put all of us up in it, where we don't even know our own politics. We probably don't know the definition of politics. A lot of people didn't pay attention in civics class, but they will look at this and then they will be like, "Oh my gosh, Trump did this. Oh my goodness. He should have stayed. Maybe the election was a steal." They don't go and actually do research. Not even just a bare minimum of research. They probably would have been like, "Oh, this is a last minute thing. He could have done this a long, long time ago." People, here's one thing y'all have to understand when it comes to pardons. He can do it at any time.
Mm-hmm.
He don't have to wait until the last days of the presidency. And I'm not just talking about 45. I'm talking about any president. A president can grant a pardon on his first day.
Yep.
If I,
As soon
if
as he,
I'm,
as soon as he inaugurated.
right, if let's say if Teach becomes president and I'm in some trouble, let's say for money laundering, and I'm like, "Yo, Teach, I need help." They're about to just nail me to the wall. Bad enough I'm blessed. So that's strike 3. Now I got this money laundering. And she's like, if I get presidency, I probably might grant you a pardon. Okay, cool. Word. Her first day in office, after she gets sworn in, she could just be like, after all the ceremonies done, pardon Morris. Boom. Ladies and gentlemen, that's just simple.
Yeah.
People have to understand how politics work. But see, we go on the deep end when we just on the surface. The surface is, oh, Wayne and Kodak Black, they're my favorite rappers. They don't know what they do. And knowing that, I give it about another year and a half, you're going to hear them in the news for the same damn mess that they got part 4 in the first place. Watch me. Watch.
I don't know.
They going to do the
They
same
they
thing.
probably think that's a lifetime pardon, but nevertheless, it's very sad commentary because um you know, Bill Cosby had asked for a pardon. He was not pardoned. He asked when I forgot who when the COVID broke out, and
Could
somebody
he
that
be
had
released
just
early?
went to jail, and they
Takashi
released him
6ix9ine.
from jail because of the COVID. They didn't want him to catch the COVID in behind bars. So Bill Cosby, you know, he put his bid in to be pardoned or released early because of the COVID. And they told him no. So when I look at the quality of person, um, Kwame Kilpatrick, Bill Cosby, they were all considered, white collar crimes. But when you look at Little Wayne, people like him, they were just street thug crimes. So the message that he sent was you could be a street thug and you could get a pardon if you suck up to the president. And that's probably why late in the election, Little Wayne was like, yeah, I'm voting for Trump and blah, blah, blah. A lot of them came out and supported him at the last minute. So that puts in his mind, oh, okay, these little thugs are in my corner. They have numbers and they can bring numbers to the election. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give them a pardon. And so what it does is vilifies those that have really had a positive impact on the African American community, and those that we feel are brings the community down, they lift them up. So this is a perfect example of this being done. And my position has always been, as far as Bill Cosby was concerned, he was in that era where white women just wanted to have sex and drugs. You give them some drugs, or no, they're going to give you the sex. That was just the era that they came in, the free love movement. So, and these women, oh, he raped me 2 or 3 times. Or why were you in his face 2 or 3 times? If it really was not what you wanted the first time, why would you put yourself in a situation a second time and then a third time? So these women were just paid, and some of them came out and confessed that it was all a lie. They were just sexing and drugging. So for me, I feel that he had a raw deal. He got a bad deal. But then it goes back to what I've always said, that when you go out there, you got to leave certain races of people alone. Stop letting them be, in your mind, a place of prestige. Stop letting them be that forbidden fruit that you just absolutely have to have, because it always lands you, the black man, in an adverse situation that's difficult, to say the least, to get out of, if you're able to get out of it.
Ain't that the truth, Teach? Ain't that the truth? I mean, I couldn't put it in any other words. And then, not to mention, people gotta think, the woman that was the lead woman that was accusing Bill
Dickerson?
Cosby. Yeah, that was not her. The lead woman with the hair. She looked like she. I forgot her name.
Howard Stern little sister. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Look, she looked like she could play. Looked like she played teammates with freaking Larry Bird. They probably both went to the same salon, but who knows? But shoot,
No, she
just
like
looking at her,
and Howard Stern are like identical twins. Like that's his long lost sister.
But see, I was thinking this. I was like, out of all people, you think Bill Cosby that? I would.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
I would expect. What's that one model? Beverly. I think her first name or last name was Beverly. I would expect her to be in the front, but they come to find out her story had so many holes up in it. You thought it was probably Swiss cheese, because she was like, I don't remember, but I remember he did this. Do you remember the time? I don't know. And then she started going back to the fade back into the darkness, because she didn't even know what the hell, because they kept calling her out on her bullshit. Majority of
Because
the
they were high. They were
Yeah.
high. They don't remember anything. They were
You
just
don't-
having orgies and whatnot.
Okay.
They were high, having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And
say
they
this.
just-
I'm gonna say this, Teach. The best thing to describe all those women is the same thing that 80s rockers would tell you when they ask them, like, how were the parties during the 80s? Or he's like, man, look here. Somebody tell you that they remember partying in the 80s, they weren't partying. If you was partying in the 80s, then you remember 81, maybe 83. You might come to in 87 and sober up just enough to catch the end of 89. Like, dude was like, there's years. He was like, there's years of partying. And when you partying like that, you go years without honestly remembering what the hell happened. Or you remember like, I remember the event, but I feel like the event happened 2 years ago. No, the event actually happened 7 years ago.
Yeah, and
You
see
have a
this.
time distortion.
Yeah, and see
Mm-hmm.
that's why I like watching documentaries behind the music, which they don't have anymore.
Because they
That's
telling
why I
too much
like
truth.
watching. They was telling the truth, and you just sit back. You because people we hold these celebrities in such high regards. Like I'm gonna use Rick James for example. I never do Rick James party that hard, and you see
But we
all
assume.
these yeah, and you see these girls sitting there saying he held them against their will and all that stuff. I'm like, I don't think Rick James was that freaky. I don't know, but I mean, all that partying that him and his boys were saying that he did, it's just like, oh snap, because that he never did cocaine until like what, probably like the middle '80s. He started doing cocaine, and then doing crack. But before then, he was just smoking weed.
That's
But
it.
they were, yeah, and then they were just partying hard. Like, remember Studio 54? Bill Cosby even went up in Studio 54. It
They
was
got
up,
pictures of Michael Jackson in
up in
Studio
Studio
50.
50. And then they
Actually,
had,
Mike Jackson used to party with Rick James.
mm-hmm, and then they had another room. Well, I think it's either they had it the room upstairs. I think it's in the basement where they would just y'all use
Get it
your
in.
imagination. Let's just say they just did a lot more
Solomon
things.
Gomorrah.
Yeah, they let's say they were just doing more than just hugging each other and saying how are you feeling. So let's let your mind wander. So when you have all these women and also I'm put men
Mm-hmm.
coming out the woodwork, sitting there saying, "Oh my gosh, you know, Michael Jackson touched me inappropriately, or Bill Cosby took advantage of me." It's like, huh? Like
How?
before when I, right before I met my freaking girlfriend, when I would go out and drink, and I meet this girl, talking to her. First of all, number one, I'd be like, "How old are you?" I gotta be like a bouncer. Let me check your ID. Let me see if
Mm-hmm.
everything,
Two forms.
straight. I'm like, ain't gonna
Two
be no R.
forms.
Kelly that's going on here. Number one. Number two, I'm gonna ask her simple questions to make sure that she's saying that she's in the right mind, because number one, this she could just say rape at the wrong dang time, and I'm out. Mayo, welcome to your show, man.
No.
Also,
She ain't got to
this,
say right. She just say, I remember leaving with
yeah,
him, but I don't remember entering the house. You raped her.
right. And so I ask these questions, and definitely that's why I love the military so much about situational awareness, because without that situational awareness, any dumb person would just go in ahead and just take that girl home. Because like there are times where I just be in the club or at the bar and I see girls just falling over, slurring their words, see dudes just carrying them out and all that stuff.
I got it.
But
I got it. I
mm,
got
but the good thing for this area here in Seattle, they all come in packs. They all bring their friends and all that stuff, and they have that
Smart.
one friend that's like, "Hey, no, no, don't do it." Like one time, I had to intervene. I was like telling homegirl, I'm like, "Yo, your girl is kind of dumb," because the dude was just hitting on her. She was like, "Oh, you so pretty," and I was like, "Yo,
Your
let's
girl
step in."
drunk. Your girl
Yeah,
drunk. Go get your girl.
right. And then the girl thought I was trying to get with her friend. I was like, "Look, I got a girlfriend. Number one, number two, I'm not trying to." She's incoherent. She's
It ain't
she's
working.
so right. She is so incoherent to the point if she falls asleep or says that she's tired, she may not wake up, or even worse, black out. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to get her out this area. But not trying to get sidetracked on what we're talking about. You got people on this list that don't deserve to get brought.
Man, no.
That just it's just my I knew people like Bannon was going to get it, because Bannon was
Mm-hmm.
there. He was the one that started the whole 45 train. He's the one that started it. He just started that him being in the White House would give him credibility not only to himself but also to his brand of Breitbart. And then he realized that you got to bring ass to get ass. He thought this was going to be a
Mm-hmm.
job where he could just tell 45 wherever the hell he want, and then it's going to happen. Come to find out, when power gets to your head, they can give a damn who helped you get there or what strategies you told them that they listened to. Once you get some, like they say, if you truly want to test somebody's character, give them power.
Absolute
See if
power
they,
corrupts
yeah,
absolutely.
give somebody absolute power and see how much they are loyal to you. So, seeing everybody on this list now for Lil Wayne and for Kodak Black, keep going back to them. Ladies and gentlemen, they showed you their cards. If you actually look at it deeper than them just getting a pardon for their crimes and all that stuff, look deeper into this. Are they going to stop doing what they're doing? Are they going to be
Hell no.
blessed that they got this pardon? Are they going to change their music up that still encourage calling women bitches? Even though we do say it on the show, encourage the N word a whole hell of a lot. Um, Not doing any great progression for the black community or even donating. I'm sick and tired of seeing just giving out turkeys on Thanksgiving and giving out gifts or start of school and all start of school, giving them book bags and all that stuff. Are y'all sick and tired of that? Because I'm guaranteeing you, you ain't gonna see nothing different from Lil Wayne or Kodak Black. Because remember Lil Wayne who said Black Lives Matter, and then in the interview, I don't know nothing. But my bitches, he y'all go back to an
Yeah,
interview, paraphrasing. He
my
said,
life matters. I don't have
Mhm.
that. I don't have that issue. No, I'm
and then
rich.
and then
Therefore,
throw a
everybody cool.
right, and then throws a birthday party for his daughter about a month ago. Nobody with no damn mask, knowing that we admitted COVID. Even his daughter even admitted, "Oh yeah, I know this is COVID, but this is my birthday." So I don't know. People from Atlanta, if anybody who's watching it from Atlanta right now, what vaccine or what are y'all eating that got y'all knocking away the COVID? I want to know. Maybe y'all was watching the show, y'all was listening to Teacher's Remedies. I don't even know. But for y'all to still go out there and party without no mask, it's beyond me. But all these people that they pardon, I have seen not other than what Snoop Dogg with his pardon. That's the only reasonable pardon that I've seen. But I would continue to look through it all. But Mayo, you here on the show. What do you think about the pardons and which pardon really stands out to you?
Oh well, good evening to everyone, and my apologies for the late entry. I yeah, I really never took the pardons as a big deal, in the sense of what I feel like is more of a big deal is who was not on the list. I
Mhm.
don't know if everybody can gather so far in my short time on this show that I am not about names or individuals. I'm strictly about issues. So, um, when it comes to Trump, I'm not one of those who gets excited if I hear his name or not. I'm not. I'm kind of when I hear Trump, I tune out when people talk about him, good or bad. And I have folks who I know that do both. And reason why is because I believe that a lot of things that we get excited about, meaning we as African Americans or Black people in general, is symbolism and not you know stuff that issues or concrete issues that's going to be um, lifelong, like systemic racism. I think that there are more people, other presidents, and people have said this. So I have a lot of friends who have made the argument that Trump is the one, not a lot, everybody makes the argument. Trump is the worst president the United States ever had. Because of the issues that I care about, don't see it like that. I think that he should have not been the president because, he's a racist guy. Nobody should have voted for him. But when it comes to the issues of, like real issues, people who have put us they've added policies that put us systemically at risk for the rest of our lives. We've let them go because they didn't say the dumb things that he said. They didn't do the dumb antics that he's done. But we've focused less on them because they're doing theirs systemically, and he's very overt. So back to this whole thing, man. People, I was the what's called Breakfast Club today was making an argument about that anybody that's black in America today would have done the same thing what Lil Wayne did, even though it's not popular. I think so too. If you had to face 9 to 20 years in your life, and I
No,
asked you this show last
no.
week or so. hold on. You know, and I asked him to show that, you know, if you can name policy-wise something that Trump has done outside the symbolism that he's done to show that he don't respect us. If you can name those, and nobody can name them, with that mindset, somebody is going to give you opportunity to walk away from 20 years in prison. Now, I ain't spent one day in prison in my life. I don't plan to. You know, and I hope I never. But my thing is, if I knew that I was that dumb enough to do something that bad, and I'm facing 20 years, and I have to support this guy or not, and if I feel, you know, I don't. My thing is, you know, like, I guess if I look at it the way everybody looks at Trump, yes, you know, I might question it that much, but if I look at it the way I look at him, like, you know, like, to me, it's just another executive in this system, you know, that has not been for us because we've not fought the right way. We should fight policy-wise, not about how somebody's acting or what they're saying. You know, what they call me or this. I think what he says, a lot of presidents, including some of the ones that were there today, former presidents, have shown the things that he's been saying. You don't have to call me an N-word for me to know you don't like me. I just gotta look at what the work you're doing to see. I mean, if even today I did, and I hope that within the next 2 years I see Joe Biden do this. But I called a few of my friends and I said, "Oh, did you hear about the executive order that Joe Biden signed that says that at any point, if any police officer shoots a unarmed black man and do not have the camera on, they got to be fired immediately." I mean, of course he can't just. I don't think he can put an executive order out there like that. But
here's the thing. He can do that. He can, but it's a trickle down effect. So even if he does, let's say it's true, he signs it, it goes into effect. It's up to the states,
right?
And then the counties, cities to
it's
integrate.
A local issue. It's a local issue. I'm with you. It's a local issue. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to test how people can catch on to that. Everybody was like, "Oh, I didn't hear about that," and I'm like, Negro, stop. You know, that didn't happen. But now, hopefully, that's what we're going to be pushing for. Policies, not just to be cheerleaders, not just to be posting stuff. Hopefully we can start getting together and start pushing for these policies. So once again, I mean, the list he has, I didn't see Ed Snowden on there. I didn't see
You're not going to.
I didn't see Julian Assange on there. So I'm about principles. The principle of the fact that we at the airport, if you see something, say something. So the people that have said something, even though they were not black, and we got to stop being the fact that everything they have to be a black person for me to support them, whatever. If they do something to a white person that right now and they did them wrong, we got to think that they can happen to us 10 times. So when I see Ed Snowden, who's from Ohio, who's like had to live away from the United States for the last 10 years or so, because he told on the government when the government is wrong, and we are not fighting for him for freedom of speech, for the fact that you can tell on your government. If you see something, say something. It's not being followed through on. When I see us not fighting for that, when I see Trump not fighting for that, I know that he's not for that kind of thing. But he came in as a guy that was supposed to be like wild card. Nobody knows who he's going to support, you know. So in his way out, I think he might be a wild card. He might support Ed Snowden. He might take out Ed Snowden and pardon Ed Snowden. He might do the same for Julian Assange. You know, even though I don't think he really knows what the hell he's doing in the White House. But those were the things I was looking at. Like, you know, if he could have done that, then that would have made more sense. The Lil Wayne and Snoop Dogg and all that stuff, he thinks that those are the things he needs to do to get the black community excited. That's some dumb stuff. You know, that's the mindset he had.
I was just thinking that, honestly. I was honestly just thinking.
But for Edward Snowden, I'm kind of in the middle with him. At one time, I agree with him, but you know, thinking about what he did, I'm kind of on the fence with him. But Julian Assange,
the fact that had something to do with information and everyone's information. That's kind of like, I feel like Ed should have got what Kwame got. Snowden should have had his community drop down a little bit, because had he not did what he did, we wouldn't know the true depths that the government will take, and we didn't know how understandable our self-perceived paranoia was. You know, the cops are listening to your phone calls, the FBI's and da-da-da. Well, Snowden said, hey, that shit's true. Wait, we've been listening to your stuff.
What?
No matter how random, trivial, we've been doing it. So now, like,
I'm glad he
need to be. He told something need to be happening. Yes,
yeah,
but
so,
It's like
but
it's like a drug dealer. You selling drugs, but you you did something for the community, but you
right,
still a drug dealer. Like I don't want you to do life, my nigga, because I appreciate what you did, but you
right.
still shouldn't have been out there. So
It's
15
kind of
years,
like that
12,
Nino Brown. It's like that Nino
dead
Brown.
perm years.
Yeah, it's
Like
like
life is
Nino
just
Brown.
wrong.
But the thing is with me with Snowden, I saw the movie. I encourage everybody to go on Netflix and look up Snowden and watch
It
it.
was interesting.
It's a great movie. I understand the premise of what he was doing, but at the same time, when all that information is leaked, not only just to the United States but to the world to see, that
Mhm.
kind of just shown that open wound of the United States for him to jump in. And then one thing people don't realize that, and Snowden should have known this, that there was a thing called the Patriots Act. There's a thing called
Homeland Security.
Patriots Act that was I forgot that dude's name under the Bush administration after 9/11 that a lot I think who
Mm-hmm.
was I think it was Bernie Sanders that tried to get rid of that freaking bill. He's trying to get rid of that law where government should not be in our cameras, listen to us on the phones and all that stuff. He tried to push for that and he got so much kickback for it. I know he's not the only politician that tried to push for that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why I keep hearing all these conspiracy theorists sitting there saying, well, they already listening to our phones, they're doing this to us, they're doing that to us. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, the people, and it's majority coming from the right, from the conservative right, because they don't realize your party, the Republican Party, pushed for that, which y'all supported. Now all of a sudden, it's a bad thing now.
Because
So
they're involved in it.
right, and so before you sit there and you try to throw rocks, realize that you live in a glass house too. You the ones that did that. Now for Julian Assange, I'm just gonna hold that for now because we're at the top of the hour. She just left. She had technical difficulties. We're gonna go into the second half of this show, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. All right, we are back after that brief break. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, Cash App. Uh Everybody send me your Cash Apps on the private chat so I can send out to everybody so they can make the requests and all that stuff so I can push it out there. But let me go ahead and finish my thought on the first half of the segment on Julian Assange. At one time, just like with Snowden, I saw what Julian Assange was doing. He was putting out information that needed to be heard on, like how the government works and all that stuff. But I lost because I saw a movie on him too as well. What turned the corner for me about Julian Assange, where I'm at the point where I'm like, excuse my language, fuck Julian Assange, was when he found all those emails on Hillary Clinton after
Benghazi.
44 when 45 said, hey, if y'all have the email, go ahead and push that out. And then the next day, I remember emails after emails after emails after emails. And then when he went on Bill Maher's show, who I lost respect for, when I had a little bit of respect for him, he called him out on it. He was like, so you're going to look for Hillary's emails, but you're not going to look up dirt on what Trump's doing? And he said, we're working on it. We're working on it. And nothing never came about. So that right there showed me where Julian Assange is. He showed me that you just going to jump on the bandwagon. You're just going to jump on what is hot, because he basically helped 45 win that election too as well. That pushed that investigation even further than it shouldn't have been. So when I heard free of Julian Assange, it's funny. I see a lot of people, and also people on the left, got Julian Assange's picture on the back of their cars. And I'm like, fuck him. He's the reason why we in this mess too. So the struggles that he's going with, this is what I'm doing. That's on you. You put yourself out there on Jump Street. You also was the one that started this damn forest fire, not this forest fire, this inferno that happened here in America. So you don't deserve anything. And for this is the one good thing I think 45 did. Hey, even though you helped me get this presidency, I ain't give you shit. I got what I needed from you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what 45's always been. So Julian Assange, deal with it. Now you have to basically fall back to the wickedness of your ways. Sorry. And that's my point on Julian Assange. Anybody else want to make another point? And then we
Real
go on.
quick, okay, I know, I kind of checked in on this late. So back to the reason why I even brought them up. Like it's not just them. I mean, I'm talking about Asada Shakur. I mean, of course, like
Yeah.
you hear me out. This is what
Shakur.
I'm not the type that thinks that something is impossible. I just never think like that. I don't never think. I'm not an absolute. So I don't ever be like, oh, Trump is like, I'm writing him off. Like I said last week, I'd have met with him in the beginning of his term. I mean, I'd have met with him. What can I get from my community? I don't.
Right.
The party thing comes second to me. The first thing that comes is the people. Like now everybody believes that he's gonna lie to you and this that he ain't gonna do. Well, I don't believe in. I believe in people. I believe in the good in people. Until they fail me. Now, people can say he's failed us many times because whatever. Again, I believe in giving people every opportunity they can. Not for them to pull the wrong underneath you, but at least if it's something where they could do it on their own without me being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it's something where I can call somebody, be like, do this. If you do it, don't bother me. If you do it, if you do this, it bothers me in a good way, and I'll be happy. If you don't do it, I'm not expecting it from you, but at least I want you to do it. We never asked of anything, and that's what's pissing me off. We gotta at least ask of something for us to be hating on somebody or whatever. We didn't ask them of anything. The ones that asked, we admonished them, and Steve Harvey, the ones that met with him at the beginning of the term, we called them out and all this stuff. There weren't other ones that asked. Like Kanye, I mean, he got that lady out, and he's talking about how he did all this stuff for African American. He got one lady out, but at least they asked him. So my problem is don't not ask and complain. That's one. So my thing is that Asada Shakur, I wish somebody could ask him about her, because I really think he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I didn't think Trump knew anything what he was doing the 4 years over there. He was just trying to find anything that can make him popular within the racist white folks or anybody else. So when he found Lil Wayne, he thought that would make him popular. I'll free Lil Wayne. So that's what I'm saying. That for me, I didn't have this mindset where I feel like there was nothing that there was nobody he would be able to give a pardon to. Now, but finishing with the Assange to defend them, I don't think that they did that anything they did to support Trump. I really don't think they did. I think they were just finding a moment where they saw the government doing wrong, and they had always believed in the government, and they had the aha moment. And I'm like, I'm gonna tell, and that happened to help Trump out. So I don't think that I should hold that against them. My thing is a parallel thing about if you see something that's wrong, fix it. There's always the time is always right to do what's right. Everybody talks about Dr. King and all that stuff, but when people do what's right and we pay them back with ill, that's where I have a problem. They did what's right. They saw something, they said something. And like we at the airport, when you see something, say something. When it comes to the government, they get punished. We as American people should have stood up for them and say, no, don't do this to them because we were going to be in the dark if they didn't open our eyes to what's going on. And that's it for me. I care less about everything else, like the color, who they are, they're white, they're this, or maybe somebody got gained out of it. Who cares who gained out of it? The problem is that the people was the one that gained the most out of it because our eyes are open. That's why I started having this on my computer where I can shut my computer down after realizing that this is real. I used to hear the rumor about what they was watching through our computers, but I kind of felt like, oh, conspiracy theories. But he made it real for me. That's something that was good for me as a citizen. So I'm not going to throw that away and not support that person that's doing. But I digress. I hope you understand. This is my mindset. Is just about logic. It ain't about anything else, but just what's right and what's wrong.
Right.
And this
All
is
right.
what I
Yeah.
always say about conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are simply uncovered truth or a level of unbelievability. When people begin to believe it, at that point it crosses over to reality and it's no longer a conspiracy theory, but it's true. So I'm A1 number one conspiracy theorist if you want to give me that label, because I know that it's simply truth waiting to be uncovered.
I, yeah, usually it's me. You can't. I'm like conspiracy brother. Good morning. Good morning. Go on, meaning this absence of white. So when you tell me good morning, you telling me goodbye, colors. I'm waking up early in the morning to kill me a nigga.
Oh yeah, kill me.
All right. So let's go ahead. So the inaugurations, all that's been done, a lot of firsts.
Yes.
What are you expecting out of this administration? What do you feel is going to happen that he said, one of the promises that he says he's going to do?
Aside from promises and everything he said, I expect he will be portrayed in the same light as W. I said it at work and I was joking, but I said, honestly, don't be surprised if they compare him and Kamala to W and Condoleezza, and they be considered as the Democratic version.
That's a good. Yeah, that came out nowhere. I never even thought of it like that.
I never.
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking, just sitting here thinking about like educated black woman, always on her P's and Q's, impeccable with the education, but she's following to a lovably affable type of individual. It's like he looks like he knows something and he's cool, but sometimes you question where his brain is really at. Some things he says, some things he do really make you question, like, I think there's something else going on here, but that Kamala? Yeah. Hey, like I already see that now just from random pictures they've been posting and their interactions with each other. That's going to be one of the first things that they're going to try to put on them. Aside from, especially if they're doing their job and they're actually making headways and strides for America, I expect that to pop up as some kind of diversion.
I'm gonna add this twist to it, Beast, because you like I didn't even thought of anything like that and it makes sense, but I'm gonna put a twist to it. It will be like a Bush Condoleezza Rice if she was the vice president during that time, because we all knew that Dick Cheney was the most powerful vice president.
He was the president.
Dick Cheney was the president. Dick Cheney was the president. Let's keep it banned. You can't call him a vice president. This is why you cannot call Cheney a vice president. Number one, he shot a man in the face, and that man survived. I was thinking that. Him. Number two, both him and Bush have had life to death moments where Bush almost died from choking on a peanut in the Oval Office.
Pretzel.
Excuse me, pretzel. But nobody, no Secret Service saved him. They just stood there and watched him. But Cheney needed a new heart. They went and got that motherfucker 2 triple heart bypasses, and the whole world knew about it. That was in the paper. It was in Time magazine. It was like, Cheney must live.
The funny thing is about Dick Cheney too. I actually it was a preseason game for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I think it was just after he had his bypass surgery. He was sitting there with the owner, tearing up on some chicken tenders, camera on him and everything. The cameraman just said, "Yo, focus on his eating." He just teared up. Dude was even talking to him. He probably was talking to him about the game, just tearing up those chicken tenders, Pepsi in hand. I was like, "Damn, Dick, you know
gave you a new heart, and you already fucking it up."
Yeah,
that's some black stuff. Like, so, you just went and got this insulin, and now you gonna go to Baskin Robbins.
Right. I'm saying you gonna clog your arteries. Go ahead, sir. But I was just sitting there.
He was gangster.
Just like but Dick Cheney. This is how you know Dick Cheney was gangster, and McCary, good point on that. Welcome back, by the way. He muscled the most respected black generals, Colin Powell, out of
Actually,
the
they were better. That's what I'm about to say. He scared the most powerful black man in military. Because when that happened, Colin Powell was like, you know what? I ain't messing with the Bush administration. I'm falling back. I'm good. We'll see me up in the White House for a while.
He saw the storm coming. He just knew. He said, you know what? I'm not even going to be a part of this. My hands up. But going back to this current administration, I can kind of see that because I got a strange feeling. Y'all can make me sound like I'm crazy. I got a feeling a lot of things is going to get done if the right people. It goes back to what Mayo's saying, but what we all been saying on this show. If black organizers, because right now there's a split between Black Lives Matter right now. That's what the news is coming out saying. If the right organization gets together and they push this administration to live up to their promises, saying that this is the issues that we have and here are the solutions that we offer to help you to reach that goal, things I believe will happen. May not be the speed that we wanted. Like what's that saying? The Christians always say it may not happen when you want, but it's always on time. Like that. Right.
Yeah, that's some crap. It's just late. I just have a real issue with it's just late. It's just late.
And don't worry, I don't approve that. I don't.
It only works. It only works with God. It only works with God. You can only get away with that statement with God. Everything else, we need a time.
I mean that's God's planning. It's out of our hands. It's out of our time, sense of time. But when God does, it's always on time. God to do it in His time. He do it late. He just show up late. It just shows up late. That's call it what it is. He's so busy doing so many things around the world. When he finally get to you, it's late. That's all.
It's true. And you know what?
Nobody want to tell God that he late. Nobody wants to say it.
But see,
but you just explained why. Because God is not late if He does it by His time.
Look, and Tish, you know me. Everybody know me on this show. I don't agree with that sentiment either. I was just saying, but
I think she being cynical, right?
No.
I mean, what?
No, she's not. No, she's taking for example, for us, CPT time. CPT.
What?
Color people time. We will throw that in there. We will throw that in. I ain't late. I ain't late. You know I got a grace period anyway. No, nigga, you was late. You late. Yeah. You were BSing. Now you late, but you want to use that colored people time as a defense mechanism. It's the same thing as folks be like, well, God will do it in His own time.
What?
Really? Like,
really? But that's why I think she's being cynical, saying that God is late. I mean, because I don't think it has anything to do with God. I think that God has put you on the planet to make some moves, and it goes along with what He's doing. He's going to help you get there in time. But if you don't do it, then it's going to be late. If we don't do the things that we are supposed to do on time, then it's going to be late. And the other things that we want to just wish and pray that happens, we get to. We hope for miracles too much, kind of like how we're looking for messiahs. We hope for miracles way too much, and those things fall down, and our excuses, which are tools of incompetence, and I mean some of us. I have to make sure our preference is saying some of us. Our excuses is God didn't do it in time. No, we gotta we gotta make things happen. We gotta come together. Everything we keep talking about, we gotta do better in some things. Like like in the primary, we gotta train people, black people that we know that's not gonna sell us out, and put them in office. That's how we're gonna see this change. Most people who are black who are running for office and in primaries, the party has chosen the person that they know is gonna do. The party's bidding over our bidding. I'm part of that party. I'm not saying like don't be part of that party. I'm saying be smart to know that their agenda is not 100% lined up with your agenda, that we have to go train our own people and put it to them and tell them that if you don't elect our people in the primary, we're not going to elect your people next time too. We have to be able to make those deals. and not say, oh, it's late. The person that we put in there is late because God made it late. No, it's you that made it late. We are not organizing enough.
I agree with you, man. I feel like in order for us to do that, one of the main solutions we need to do as a people is we need to get everyone to understand on a personal, individual, as well as a high mentality, understanding of self-esteem and self-motivation.
Yeah.
Because everything that you and teacher are saying, I'm hearing self-esteem. So we have to self-motivate ourselves. We have to know that
you have to
at
take
the end of the
control.
day, if I don't be the one to start that spark, nobody's gonna put their hand over it or throw some more fuel to the fire. I got to be the one to start it and help maintain it until other folk want that warmth as well. So I have to be the one to motivate myself. I have to think about myself in that higher point.
So let's continue, because this morphs into what we were talking about with the current administration of Biden and Harris, because like I said, I just got some strange feeling that they're going to get a lot of stuff right. Because right now we got once again, we got a lot of people on my timeline. You probably see on your timelines, and everybody who's watching right now on your timeline sitting there saying this is a communist country. Oh my gosh, we already got people complaining about the high gas prices that's going to be coming. We already got people complaining about the high taxes that are coming. Are already people coming out the woodworks, and they just barely got the seat warm. But
they ain't even got in the car yet.
Right. But go ahead, Teach.
Yeah, there's always going to be complainers, negative Nancy's, and people looking for the worst. And if you look for it, you will find it. No matter where you look, you will find it, because that is what you want to see. That is the reality that you are creating for yourself each and every day. And the clearest evidence that we have is those that were part of the insurrection. They were part of white privilege. They're now crying and saying, oh, I'm going to go to jail for this. I'm going to serve some time for this. I have to pay a penalty for this. Yes, you were treasonous against the government. But my question becomes this: for those that thought storming and rioting the government in the name of revolution, from what to what? What was the revolution in their mind? What did they think that they could accomplish? What did they want to see different than was not already playing throughout our federal, state, local, and county governments? What did they want to see different by overtaking the government? And for me, it was an ill-fated plan. It was not well thought out. They were just filled with negative energy without a real vision of what it is they were hoping to accomplish. Because many of them have backtracked, and now they're throwing Trump under the bus, but it doesn't matter because Trump, I didn't even mean to call his name, but it doesn't matter because he's been relieved of his duties. His duties have expired. He no longer have the power, and those few that they rounded up and taken to jail, they've turned, they turned on him, and now they see the light after it's shown on them that he was in essence the Pied Piper that was leading them out to the ocean. And now that the rats have drowned, he goes on with life. And their lives, they've lost their jobs. They're gonna be indicted and get slapped on the wrist and so forth and so on. So my question for today was, even though there was a heavy military presence, all of the people that were really planning on coming, before they started rounding them up and arresting them, they're like, we don't think this is a good idea. But what was the purpose in the first place? Just to be mad for nothing. Just to be mad because when he talks about making America great, I said this before, make America great meant it was code word for white supremacy. We're
Mhm.
going to always be in control. We're going to always have an oppressed people no matter who they
Mhm.
are. Black people are not the only oppressed people in the United States. It's the biggest, the most talked about because we make it vocal. But the
Because we
Native
were here
Americans
first.
are oppressed
Mhm.
as well. The Asians were at one time oppressed as well. There's a book by Ronald Tanaki called Iron Cages, and he talks about how America selects a race of people to oppress
Mhm.
for its need at that particular time period. So
Mhm.
we're not the
That's true.
only oppressed people. It's just about every race that have come through here have been an
We're just
oppressed
old faithful.
people. But
Black folk are more
as
reliable.
I've
That's
said many times, we push that needle of diversity. We
mhm.
push for laws and legislation that not only benefit African Americans, but benefit the other races that reside in this country as well. So we just have the loudest voice. And so for me, it's minus 45 degrees and it feels good. It's the dawning of a new day, and we will embrace that day as it comes. I believe that they have a lot of work to do, a lot of repairing in terms of quelling that thirst for white supremacy. They're gonna have to suppress it again. All right. And hopefully people are just kind of take a citric magnesium and get it out their system and realize that this is America for all people, not just one race. And when they begin to take that into their system, I don't know if it'll be another 500 or 600 years, then maybe we can see a truly peaceful America where all people are working together for the same common goal. And for those people that ride it on the White House, what do they want to do? Take away our rights where we have to get back to the back of the bus. They want to put us all back in the kitchen. They want to take us out of the sports. I mean, what vision did they have for this quote unquote revolution and making America great? So
We
we're
want America poor.
progressing. We're progressing. We are the poor we have with us always, as the good book says. But the thing that we have to realize is that what does it mean to be embrace diversity? How does diversity not hurt your mental thinking of white supremacy? How does diversity not hurt it? How does me having a job not take away from you having your job? Everybody has a gift and a skill. And like I said, the constellation has all kind of stars and there's room for everyone. And this is what this nation must begin to embrace, the fact that everyone can contribute to the positive growth of it.
Mm.
But if we're stuck that one race is is greater or superior, then there's always going to be a problem across the color line, because in their mind, somehow or another, if someone has something equal to or greater than what they feel is their lot, that is a problem. And I don't know how we can get rid of that mentality. Myself, I truly believe just simply do your individual best, do your family best, do your community best, do your local best, do your national best, do your international best. And whatever they think, whatever.
There you go. Teach. I don't think we can put it any way better than that.
Mm.
I just think that everybody, hopefully everybody is enthusiastic about this new administration. You may not have to be a fan. I know there's not a lot of Biden fans. I'm not a fan. Harris fan, I'm not a fan neither. But we have to be like
Gotta
hoping for the
support.
best with them and hoping for the best. for them. So I'm gonna go ahead and
Hoping for the best for us.
yes, most
We're
definitely.
in this, the best for us. We're in this. This is our country. And we, like I said, all hands on deck. Even if they're at the
Yeah.
helm, we still have to be in our position wherever we stand, doing our best.
So I'm gonna chime in real quick if y'all don't mind. 'Cause I
Yeah,
actually
go ahead, go ahead.
gotta jump off it for a second. But I so and then this was this the walk that I was gonna say. You know, I'm jumping off to get on a pack that I run, a black pack that I run, and it's just I've always taken pride in just believing like that there's nothing wrong in believing in people. So the same I just there's something about us being so excited, and I believe that a lot of us fantasize about what it should be if we have a black vice president, just like I did, and many people did when we had the black president. I don't see that much difference now. Obama was in office and Biden was his vice president. I hope that they listened to what happened when they were in debates when Trump was telling them that you had 8 years. You didn't do anything for the people that sent you in there. And people make excuses. Oh well, no, the Republicans don't let them. Well, the first 2 years they had everything Democrat, House, Senate, and President. So they have another shot right now. I don't think by themselves that they would do anything by themselves if we don't push them. If we don't tell them that this is the policy that we want, there's nothing. So to answer your question, I'm just trying to get direct to your question. The intentions might be wanting to be it may be somewhere, and I said might be because I don't know. I don't. After Obama, I've decided after President Obama, I've decided to not willfully hope that somebody's gonna think the way I like because he's black he gonna think the way I, that day he got in office inauguration all that stuff I'm thinking like this is the new day in America is something's gonna change systemically for the rest of my life we would never have to deal with the things we're dealing with but all that changed fast because that was all in my head. I'm having so much expectation for them without us collectively doing the work. And like I said, Shrapton, the other brother, they in the White House, like no black agenda. Then some of the people asked, I think it was Reverend, not Reverend, but Professor West was asking for a black agenda. And when they were asking for black agenda, people were like, "Yo, shut up! It's a black president here. You're putting too much pressure on him." This is the first 2 years when he could have done everything, but they didn't know everything was going to change in 2010 but we had everything. We have the Blue Dog Democrats, which he was the leader of the party. He could have shut him up, but he was trying to be the president of all. Like Biden is saying, I'm bringing unity in. I'm hearing the same word. And I'm like, dude, the Democrats are the only ones that when they get in office, they get to doing that. Unless we say that black people say that we don't want this to happen again. We've given you everything we got this one time. Because without South Carolina, he was not going to be there. I really think Bernie would have won anyways. He'd have won both the primary and won general election. But that's a whole different conversation. But without South Carolina, he would have never been in there. And the fact that when he had all this choice of black women to pick, he picked the one that's done black men the most harm, including the brother in California that was wrongfully imprisoned, and she was a poster woman for all that. And he did that, and we forgave that because for me, my personal thing is she's an AKA, and I hate to be like, like because I have a personal connect with somebody that I've forgiven because I'm all about principles. So, it don't matter who you are. I say the way I feel regardless of who you are, how close you are to me or not. But I like her a lot because she AKA and all that stuff. But it's hard for me to get over the fact that she never apologized to that brother. She never apologized to all the brothers, but she was doing her job as a as a California Attorney General. But she was doing very fine for Californians that are not black men because she was one locking all these brothers up. So and the same mindset is what I want us to think about America. America is an institution, a very strong institution, and we put in this offices to keep America that way, to keep the wars going on and all that kind of stuff, and to keep us dominating, regardless of who gets the pain. Now, that's foreign policy or domestically, regardless of who gets the pain, to keep America moving forward. And that's what they do for the most part when they get in those offices. The question is, can we tap them and be like, hey, Can we make them feel like, hey, let's tap into your conscience a little bit. Remember those promises you made going in. Remember that we are here. Remember that we are one of the people that are suffering. When you listen to Wall Street, when you start appointing Wall Street folks as your advisor and all that, can you tap them and be like, hey, don't forget, if you're doing all this things with Wall Street, we're gonna be the ones suffering. When you do all these things for the banking institution, can we do that? Can we organize enough to make sure we tap them and remind them? And that's what's gonna really matter. I don't think it's gonna be something they're gonna have to do on their own. If we don't do that, there's things called PACs, which all those companies have. They have PACs. They have the FOP got their own PAC, so they're putting up money, and when that money starts going into Democratic parties campaign, Republican parties, they give money on both sides sometimes. You know, I don't know, in different states, they give money on both sides. When those money start going, those messages start getting watered, those policies start getting watered down. And we can still be sitting there, oh, I got a black, you know, my vice president is black. You know, I bet there's gonna be a song that's gonna come out about that. You know, my vice president is a woman, is black. You know, all that stuff is not moving this. It's not getting systemic racism in America is what I'm saying. I want to see the system start to change in opposed to optics. You know, and I digress that, but that's why I think that the key factor and the key indicator is what are we gonna do collectively? Are we gonna come together and have voices? They can direct messages to the White House and say, "We got you in here. What's next? We owe you us this." So, but I gotta get off, and I apologize because yeah, but yeah.
Don't worry, because the second half of the show is presented by Cheddar Boy Popcorn. You can visit Real Cheddar Boy Popcorn, like the flavor. I keep using this as a product. They got flavors out there. They have the sour cream cheese and then also the cheesy pizza. Go ahead and enjoy their 12 different flavors and new flavors as I just shown you. Go to realchairboypopcorn.com, the only black-owned Washington popcorn company here in the state. I want to start off with the segments early. And Teach, you are first at bat. It's been a while. I love running these segments. I love to hear the commentary that y'all have and all that stuff. I just want to throw that out there. I'm kind of sucking up because, you know, I like my little logos that, you know, not my logos, but like my little intros that I create for y'all, you know, and then y'all peep in, you know. Let me stop. Appreciate my work. But Teach, it's time for us to pack our bags and let's travel.
Good evening, everyone. Yamalala. That means hello in the language of the people of Cameroon. You know that March the 8th through the 13th, we will be visiting Africa in miniature at the Festival of Bosco and Iseka Village 2021. I am a guest speaker and I will be speaking on repairing the breach between Africa and the diaspora and searching out that identity. As an African American, we have a dual identity that W.E.B. Du Bois talked about, that dual consciousness, being an African and yet also an American, and how we navigate it for ourselves as we live in this land. But luckily, we have the DNA and DNA testing. So, as an African American, we can get our DNA test to give us a breakdown of the possible areas that we come from. And even some DNA tests will pinpoint to the exact ethnic group that you come from. And what many people have done with this information is to actually go back to the government or to the chieftaincy of that particular area. And there's a welcoming ceremony that's performed, one, to welcome you back as a lost son or a lost daughter of Africa. And oftentimes they may give you a name befitting your personality of that ethnic group and really give you an orientation of who and what those particular words so you can have gain a wealth of knowledge of yourself. And these are some of the wonderful things that the African Roots and Heritage Foundation participate in, is assisting individuals to do their Sankofa. Sankofa means to go back and pick up the gems of the past. And that's what can be done with the DNA test, is to go back and decode your past. So you know exactly where you come from, the people you come from, the language that your ancestors may have spoken. And one of the things that I always ask in is that when they come in the company of African Americans or Africans in the diaspora specifically, is to speak your native language. Because when you speak your native language, we in a diaspora, we get to hear the voices of our ancestors that was estranged from us. So in March 8th through the 13th, we will be in Cameroon. And we're actually doing a fundraiser to bring internet to a rural school at the Bosco Secondary School. The African Roots and Heritage Foundation will do a presentation um, presenting the internet, as well as we're looking to deliver 15 tablets and 5 internet boxes. So we're doing pretty good in the fundraiser, but we're asking everyone to contribute $5, $10, 15. The reason why we decided to do the internet and the tablets is because of the pandemic. And what we found is that in America, being comfortable, that when the pandemic was at its height and the schools were closed, which in my state, the schools are still closed. I believe every state is slightly different. But anyway, the children had to begin to learn at home. And what we found in making the arrangements to go to Cameroon is that when they had to shut down the schools, the students didn't have the internet, neither did they have the equipment to access their lessons. So they were just without learning during that period of time. So we decided that as a group that we would help. If we can help ourselves, meaning our brothers across the water, then one, we are helping to repair the breach, and two, we're keeping the African children competitive with children around the world, giving them the world at their fingertips through the internet and through the tablets. So we ask that each and every one of you that's listening to each and click on the donation. I believe we're going to put the link in the window shortly for you. So we're asking for those donations. We're asking for we could get the rest of those monies in. We can purchase all of the equipment that we need, and we here in the diaspora can be a blessing to those on the continent. So that will be our day of service through the African Roots and Heritage Foundation during the Phoebe Festival to share ourselves. We don't have to look outside of ourselves. We don't have to look to any foreign entities to come and help us to come and save us. We have the wherewithal to be our brother's keeper. And this is our motto of is in the world and a blessing to them, and in turn they may be a blessing to us. And you say, well, if they're poor, how could they bless us? Well, that's one of the greatest things, that when you travel, you learn so much about yourself. You learn what you don't know. And one of the things that during this pandemic, it has been played down. But the country of Madagascar, they have an herb, a natural plant called Artemisia pandemic plant. The WHO and the CDC, they push for vaccine, and then they're scratching their head to say, well, why doesn't Madagascar have a high COVID rate and virtually no deaths? Why does Tanzania not have a high COVID rate, but virtually no deaths? It is because they are taking advantage of what God gave us, and that is the herbs of the field for the healing of the bone. In Madagascar, is produced in Madagascar, and the drink is called Covido. And this is what Africa is giving back to the world. W.E.B. Du Bois talked about that the Negro had a message: return back to the roots and pick up the gems of the past. And so while the world is racing to create a vaccine for this man-made virus, go back to the roots, go back to the Artemisia and drink it as part of your daily diet. Uh, Probably my internet, but nevertheless, Sankofa, there you'll find Kofa. Go back to the root and find the medicine to heal your body. And with that, I will yield the floor.
Sorry about that, Teach. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies and all that stuff. But now we're going to get to Beast. Once again, thank you, Teach, for that. Now it's time to visit the community. Beast community, I might add.
Today I want to talk about community involvement and inspiration. Now, often we think about community involvement as, the typical status quo things, neighborhood watch, kind of be a friendly neighbor, keep a observant eye. But there's also so many ways that the community can involve itself, and one can involve itself into the community for a benefit. I'm speaking about the inspiration when it comes to children, because most of the time people want to do community involvement to be an example for kids, whether it's their child or a familiar child or just in general. And we always think that we have to keep them going by the same teachings that we grew up with in the same process, and that's not the case anymore. I use, for example, a friend of mine, him and his old lady. Um, his old lady and her family started a nice little local business. Now, in the midst of them, her brothers, the family coming together to start this family business, the children came together and said, well, we want to design clothes. So including them into the community decision, now these children who are barely 15, maybe 16 at the max, have already started their own clothing line. Nice stuff too, I will add. I had a chance to check it out. Good quality work. Excuse me. I was highly surprised and pleasantly surprised to see that this was a product that came from a child, and the child of an individual that I know is trying to give back into the community as well. It warmed my heart to see that type of stuff. And I feel like we should take an example as that. As we try to rebuild the community, we shouldn't just try to rebuild it to what we feel like was normal, what we feel like the original was. We should build as we move forward, encouraging the next generation to go ahead and start their structuring and their building so that by the time we're done with ours, the community is expanded to a point that was originally beyond our own recollection or thoughts. I'll go back to my earlier statement earlier of increasing that self-motivation and that self-esteem, getting them to understand that the community is here to help you, but the community can only help those that want to be helped. And those that want to be helped have no problem helping themselves. And once you start to instill these type of mottos and lessons into the children, it doesn't even have to be verbal. Just by you executing your moves in a right way, the children will notice that and they will pick up and they will move forward with those new lessons and do things that you yourself didn't think that they were capable of doing. And all the while, once again, expanding your community. So when you look into your own community, ask yourself, are you motivated enough to help them? Are they motivated enough to receive the help? And if not, what can you do to increase that level? And with that, I end my little rant for the evening. I hope everyone was informed and entertained.
Oh, most definitely we was. And y'all know what's coming up next. I'd like to thank y'all for y'all segments. She's sorry about the technical difficulties. But you know, it's a crazy week. You know, this is our first show of the week, and it's a Wednesday. And everybody got smiles on their faces like it's a Friday. So so let's go on to our most favorite segment of the show, and that is the final thought. And I will be kicking that off right here. Ladies and gentlemen, my final thought is this. I watched American Skin uh, last night. Just thinking about it, I actually made a little video that I wanted to post up, but it's going to take a while, so I just gonna go ahead and just give my thoughts. I'm not going to spoil the movie for you. It's all in what you expect. Listen to me. It's all in what you expect. I'm not just talking about the movie in general. You know, when you see the trailer, you just think, oh, wow, more. It's just not going to be that type of a good movie. Oh, no, I'm not looking at it as a movie. But that's America. To the point where it had me frustrated, pissed off, and mad. Now everybody want to talk about, peace, talk about love, talking about following the law. But think about it. Who are the only group of people that follow the law? That even will go to the law, look up the law itself and learn it and know it verbatim. You could just say the Second Amendment, they know that top of their head. We're the only group of people that will know the law from the first word to the last word, probably can remember the middle word of the passage. And we still get killed like dogs. But then the excuse is we put this on ourselves. Now, on this show, I said that we do need to take responsibility in some of the things that we do. Well, not some of the things, but majority of the things that we do. But when you have a dog in a confined space that it didn't chose to be there, what do you expect it to do? Let's go back to the crab in the barrel mentality. People want to talk about, the crab that's trying to get out of the barrel, but you got people pulling you down. The other crab's pulling the other crab down. But see, when you do a little bit of a flip analysis, it could be that crab trying to help out the other crabs to get out. And then you got the crabs up in the barrel that's just, hey, I ain't going nowhere. I might as well stay here. Or they sitting there waiting until more help comes, or that one brave soul to decide to climb over. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the reason why I bring that up is because the crabs didn't want to be there. The crabs were placed there. They were caught and they were placed there before getting sold or before they get cooked. And what other choice do they have to do besides get the hell on out, or at least trying to figure out where the hell they at? Because right now we're not in the ocean. But you are willing to blame the crabs for being aggressive when once they get out, or when you try to grab one of them from the bucket and that claw just get your finger. That if you don't put your hand in there without a glove. But still, you get mad at them for doing that? This is the same thing with black folks. Police officers, their job is horrible. Okay, but as a battle buddy will always tell me when people complain about their jobs in the military, you chose that profession. You put your hand on the oath. You swore on the Bible or whatever you put your hand over to protect and serve. Just like me, to protect and serve the country, foreign and domestic. I can't go back on that now. So now we just worry about their lives rather than the people that they shoot because they were afraid of their lives. And also, let's kick this analogy out the way. Let's kick this saying out the way. Well, you always need cops. What are you going to do if you don't have the cops to call? You got to call somebody. You got so many damn people out here that's so worried about their Second Amendment right. Why do I need the cops? So many people take the law in their own damn hands to get away with it. Why we need the cops? Cops know that one crazy person in town. Crazy Leroy. Oh, I ain't going over there. I sure ain't going over there unless I got a warrant. I got the backup and SWAT. That's the only way I'm going over there. It's that one crazy person in town that cops avoid because they know wherever happens over there, if they don't know nothing about it, hear no evil, see no evil, say no evil, we cool. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Everybody want to walk around with the freaking M16 or walk around with a freaking Beretta. All these big guns, and some of them just shoot, don't know how to disassemble it, don't know how to put it back together again, probably don't even know what bullets that goes with it that protect their family. So I don't want to hear no more about, well, we need to call, if we need somebody to call, we need the police, to put law and order. But when you see things on TV of police brutality, and not only just at a traffic stop or just a being pulled over, you see this at the protests where you already see it on display at the Capitol, where the police were scared out their wits. Even some of them, not even some of them, majority of them were taking pictures like it won't nothing. But for a Black Lives Matter or a peaceful protest, let's get all the gear we can. And let's beat the shit out of everybody. Let's shoot them up with tear gas. Let's run them over with our cop cars. Hey, it's on TV, but guess what? Nothing's going to happen to us. So for all the police officers out there, I'm not going to tell you when enough's enough. I'm just going to tell you this. Just like with anything else in life, your time is running out. That's not a threat. That's not a promise. This is good advice, and I want you to take it. I know I got friends that are on the force, but this is something that, even with that, is not going to stop me from saying what I'm about to say. Just like with anything else, your time is about to run out. Because there's going to be a time where your tanks, your cameras, your weapons of choice, even your cars, even your trains, is not going to be enough to stop a wrath of angry people. And it goes back to what Teacher's saying, as you've been saying on the show. Because there's going to become a time where no words is going to be said. And when that time comes, not even who you pray to. I don't even care if you pray to Jesus religiously. It's going to stop what's going to happen. So if I were you, under this new administration, you better stop worrying about Blue Lives Matter and start worrying about Black lives like you do with the white lives. Because if y'all continue to do what y'all been doing since y'all inception, y'all going to start becoming hashtags. I'm looking right there in the camera. Blue Lives Matter is going to start having meaning just like Black Lives Matter. Because y'all supposed to protect the law, not be the law. Because when that day comes, not even the law will stand by you. And that, I yield the floor.
As we go into a new day, we have to create the community that we want. We can't wait for others. If you have an idea, form a committee and work that idea. Sell your vision to your community and get them on board to act. We have to take on the attitude of striving for excellence at all given times. We have to be our best. We can't half step. We can't sleep all day and all night and then expect to get results. We have to work day and night to make the results. So, my final word is to strive for excellence, being dedicated in all that we do. And with that, Kwaheri, Ya Kukaona, goodbye until we meet again.
This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, age of Aquarius. I just feel like singing that because it's my birthday coming up. But honestly, this is a new age and a new dawning of a new day. And a quick warning and for all you racist Karens, all you racist bigoted people out there in general, it would behoove you to keep your comments to yourself, control your actions publicly, or separate yourself. Because as we move forward, social media has shown that even the police is tired of your silly shit. And they will arrest you quicker than they will us. So I guess it means y'all the new niggas. Sucks to be you right now. But if you need any advice on how to survive, how to navigate this treacherous maze you found yourself in, how to enhance your peripherals and use your societal awareness, just contact us. We'll let you know. But until then, be quiet, be respectful, and you can continue to live. No one will care. But if you open up your mouth, you will officially be looked upon, named, and shamed as the racist that you really are. One good thing Trump did in his whole presidency is shown us who the fuck we don't need to deal with and shown us who ain't worth acknowledging anymore. So if you don't want to fall into those two categories, change your ways and change your actions and just learn to be tolerable because everybody else is tolerating you. It's the least you could do. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Be blessed. Safe.
And ladies and gentlemen, that will do it for us. Thank y'all for tuning in. We will be back with you on Friday. I don't have a topic yet, but I will let y'all know on Thursday. But as for Anita Job, aka Teach, Beach Johnson, and me as your host, Donnell Lamonte Morris, thank y'all for tuning in. And I told y'all to wait after the show a little bit, but I talk with y'all on Thursday, so I'm talk with y'all on Thursday. But other than that, thank y'all for tuning in to another edition of Hashtag Fade to Black. Y'all have a good one. Catch y'all later.
Peace.
Good night.
Bye now. Bye-bye.